Ladies and gentlemen, we are maiden edition of the interactive session with stakeholders in school on school sanitation. This interactive session is being put together by the Lagos State Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources towards ensuring a conducive environment as a prerequisite for learning in our schools in Lagos State. Ladies and gentlemen, without further waste of time, permit me to welcome into our midst the Permanent Secretary, Office of Environmental Services in the Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources in Lagos State, Dr. Omobolaji Gaji. We also have amongst us this morning the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, ably represented here by the Director of School Administration, Mrs. Suleiman Ajayi Idowu. Please come up to the up table. Also present amongst us this morning is the TGPS District 4, Sabo Yaba. She's ably represented by the Chairman ANCOPS Mainland Zone, Dr. Mrs. Adenekon Olushola. Please come up to the top table. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to introduce to you and invite to the top table the DG Education Assurance. She's represented here this morning by a director in the organization, Mr. Kamaruddin Akodo. Already seated on the top table is the Director of Sanitation Services in the Office of the Environmental Services in the Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources, Dr. Azan Sanot. I also like to invite to join them on the top table the Director of Environmental Health in the Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources, Mr. Akim Olaiwe. Also present here is one of our facilitators. One of our facilitators, we have Mrs. Tope Okono. Please join them on the top table. Permanent Secretary, here present, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, without further waste of time, I would like to invite to the microphone the Permanent Secretary, Office of Environmental Services in the Ministry of the Environment and Water Resources in Lagos State to formally welcome us all here. I invite Dr. Omobolaji Gaji.
Good morning, everyone. First, I want to apologize for coming late. I got stuck in traffic, but I'm fully apologetic for keeping you waiting. I'm sorry about that. Thank you. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Education, ably represented here. The Permanent Secretary, TGPS 4, ably represented here. The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Health, ably represented here. The Director of Sanitation Services, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, Dr. Sanut. Our friend, Madam Fabi, Madam Fabe, Ms. Okuno. All other government functionaries here present, our teachers, our future, our students. You're welcome. This is all about you, and I believe that it's better for you to inculcate this and start running with it from ab initio. All other courtesies extended. The gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen, it is my pleasure to welcome you all to the maiden edition of Stakeholders Interactive Session on School Sanitation. We welcome the actors in education industry, the regulators, the practitioners, trainers, investors, and other stakeholders here present. The right of a child to sanitation is unalienable. Our children deserve a healthy environment with adequate, available, and accessible sanitary facilities. Our pupils spend 1/3 of their time at school, where they are exposed to a variety of physical and social factors. Unfortunately, high expectations of good sanitation practice are not always adhered to in schools. The issue of sanitation in schools is a global concern. The World Health Organization and the United Nations International Children Education Fund, UNICEF, in 2018, conducted a joint assessment of sanitation infrastructures in schools and came up with the following discoveries. One, that only 69% of schools globally have basic drinking water, 1 in 4 primary schools and 1 in 6 secondary schools. That only 66% of schools all over the world have basic sanitation services accessible to pupils within the school premises. Following the above report, it is in no doubt that majority of our children are constrained to missing classes or absent from schools due to inaccessible toilet facilities in schools. You will all agree with me that there's no better time than now to come around to a round table to discuss this pertinent issue. Having noted these international reports and the status of our dear state, being the economic nerve center of Nigeria, with ever-increasing population and the consequential pressure on the environment, the ministry deemed it fit to assess the sanitation status of some selected public secondary schools during the first quarter of this year. And sadly, the outcomes of that singular exercise has raised the necessity for this forum. Some of our findings align with the international reports, and it is therefore paramount that we put all hands on deck to ensure the sanitation services in schools are given utmost priority. The theme for the maiden edition, Sanitation, Bedrock to Learning and Development, calls for robust deliberation, strong partnership, and collaboration to address the sanitation indices. Waste management, water quality, and availability, as well as adequate, available and accessible toilet facilities, not leaving behind the general aesthetics of the school environment. The ministry has been working in collaboration with other stakeholders and investors to encourage best waste management practice in schools, and we should seize this opportunity to commend Omnix, who has been supporting the ministry in this regard and has also reinstated its commitment to replicate the construction of recyclables collection centers in more schools in the state. Through the program, between May and September 2022, a total of 47 tons of recyclables have been saved from the general waste stream in Babswafunwa Millennium School, Secondary School, and Tolu Complex. We so much believe that having more of this program replicated in schools across the state will not only enhance the school's environment, but also promote attitudinal change among pupils and the entire community. Once again, I thank you all for honoring our invitation, and your utmost contribution will highly be appreciated. Thank you all. Igbega Ìpínlẹ̀ Èkó, Àjùmọ̀ṣe gbogbo wa ni. Thank you.
The theme of the interactive session, which is Sanitation, Bedrock to Learning, is not only topical, but it is also timely and appropriate at this time. It bears stating that sanitation is at the heart of the school administration in Lagos State, as it is part of the requirements for fulfillment of Sustainable Development Goal 6, which happen to be education. We recognize, and as the saying goes, health is wealth in schools in Lagos State, and in doing this, we believe that a conducive and healthy environment will inevitably encourage learning and thereby propelling development.
I commend today the stakeholders on school sanitation for this interactive session. Sanitation is conditions relating to public health, especially the provision of clean water and adequate sewage disposal. It is a process of keeping places clean and healthy. Potable water, proper sanitation, and good hygiene are essential ingredients in ensuring a healthy life. Hand washing with soap under running water is an effective and affordable way to prevent diseases and save lives.
But with the waste materials that we collected from the environment, we were able to turn them into beautiful things of value and planted in them. Your jig, the hypo big container, you can wash it, clean it up, plant in it. You don't have to buy flower pots. Use your tires, turn them into something beautiful, and grow your food there for those who love to grow food. That's the same garden. There is nothing you won't find in this garden. Pineapples, papaya, that's pawpaw, cocoyam, different, about 15 vegetables, including tomatoes and tatashe. And then we started selling because it was too much. So we called the parents. We tagged it a name. Parents, Kinikon had hangouts. They came, bought a lot. Your children planted these things. These are the things that schools should start doing. And that's a private school. So public schools, you guys have land. What are you doing with the land? And that's one of the things we're doing. About 35 schools in Lagos State have been impacted already. You know, they have their own gardens, growing their own food, upcycling and recycling. Now we have a recycling hub. We started in VGC. We are going all around, and it can also be in your school where everybody can bring your PET bottles and trade it for a fee. Money. So I want to buy 100 naira rice by break time. Bring all the PET bottles you used at home today, yesterday, and the day before yesterday. Bring it to the hub, and then we can give you that 100 naira to buy rice from Mama Risi. It's so simple. The only thing is that you are making sure that mommy and daddy does not put that pure water, sachet, PET bottle, whatever, into the dustbin. We don't want them in the dustbin anymore. It is forbidden in Lagos State. Am I right, Dr. Sanut? It is forbidden. You cannot commingle plastic waste and other waste in the Lagos State bins. It is forbidden. Right now, they are carrying people. I saw Lagos Waste Reporter. They are carrying people now. If you throw anything anyhow, they carry you, you pay a fine, they lock you up. Yes, it has become because people are not hearing word.
These are pictures of schools taken after that incident. That is a food vendor with a wastewater close to it. You can imagine the situation. What happened in Queen's College is water pollution that led to the deaths. That is a food vendor right close to what? An untreated water. You can imagine what the students are facing. That is a school compound. Take it from me, whether it's a news that is online or a news that is sensation. Snake bites is one of the major incidents that normally occur in schools. Last week, there is one major incident in one school in the state, snake bites. Due to what? Accumulation of materials, overgrown weeds in school.
We consider that was just about the general environment. So we consider the water availability. we discovered that some of the schools, they have the source of water. Their source of water was borehole. Though we planned to test the quality, but at that time, the laboratory that will have serviced us was under renovation, rehabilitation. So subsequently, where we're coming next time, we'll be taking water samples to be sure that this water, they are safe for the children. Though we could not really ascertain that the children, they drink from this water. But regardless of that, they still wash their hands, and their hands can still get to their mouth. So automatically the water gets to their throat and to their system.
My name is Olan Pekunluakpelade from Bagada Girls Junior Secondary School, Bariga. My question says, according to what you said, or a lady, I don't know, a woman said the award of recycling and upcycling the waste materials in our environment. Are you going to come to our school to inspect, or we are going to forward it to you? That's my question.
Environmental pollution from neighboring houses into our schools. I have a video here I can relay and play. There is a neighboring house to a close school of mine. We have this water, sewage water, coming from that neighboring house into that schools. And then, apart from that, there's one in my own very school. There is this overhead tank. Anytime water is being pumped, there is a pipe directed into our own compound. My school is usually flooded, and they commonly forget this water when pumping it.
And at the same time, I believe in schools, there should be prompt evacuation of waste. And this to our director, sir, because it has been a question of concern to me. Because if you go to all these schools, you know, you have a lot of waste unattended to. Now, the question is, sir, waste evacuation in school, is it the sole responsibility of Ministry of the Environment or Lagos State Waste Management Authority? Thank you, sir.
There is a app that we can easily access or download from our Play Store. It is called Pacam. The first presenter mentioned that app. If you just go on your phone, you download Pacam. P-A-K-A-M, Pacam. So you can download that app. And once you have a sizable waste, even at home or in the schools, you just put it on that platform and you play. So somebody will come to pick. We pick as the app work like that Uber app. So people look for waste all around Lagos. People that we have recyclers that have been licensed by Loma, and they go around to pick. Many of them are located in our neighborhood as aggregators. So they will pick from us and take to for their usage. So on behalf of the Honorable Commissioner, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, the Permanent Secretary, Office of Environmental Services, Ministry of Environment and Water Resources, I say thank you very much for coming. Thank you.